My preference is that we create a single system, put everyone under a universal health care system. We treat health care not as a commodity to be played with for profit, but rather the right of every American citizen when they're born. And there's a model in Canada. Obviously, we want to make it something more attuned to our own country. But when I see in Canada that they pay $500 less per person, that they cover every citizen, and that they live 2 years longer and their infant mortality is 50% less, then I see a model. Here's what it is. You cut out all the private health insurance. You have one single payer, either at the national level or through the 50 states, and that one single payer will be the one that negotiates with the doctors, the hospitals, and the other providers. And since you have only one source of income in the whole medical establishment, you can drive down the costs. With the holding down of the costs, you can eliminate the intermediary, the middleman, the bureaucracy. In some of these hospitals, there's more people doing the billing than there are in direct patient care on an 8-hour shift. It doesn't make any sense. But through a single payer, as we've seen in Canada, you can eliminate tremendous amounts of paperwork, both for the doctors, the hospitals, and the part of the insurance companies. Then phase this in over a 3 or 4 year period, and with the lid, the tight lid you put on medical spending, you will generate savings in the neighborhood of $80 billion. That's enough to cover all the people who are not now getting health care. You do run it through the government. It's going to run through a tax system, but the money that will be spent will be, hopefully, well, certainly for all middle-class people, will be less than what they're now paying in premiums or what their employer's paying and what is coming out of their paycheck. A lot of people now are now negotiating for hospitals or for doctors, and their incomes are being reduced. We then eliminate that problem by putting a lid and saying medical care in America will be $800 billion a year. Next year, we will democratically determine it will go up 3% or 4%, not 12 or 13. And with that difference, we then generate the income to cover all Americans. That's the idea.
I think it's important to recognize what we both want. We both want a comprehensive package of affordable health care, primary, preventive, and comprehensive health care. We both want a system where you still get to choose your doctor. And we got to have a system which is more efficient and more cost-effective. The American people should know that the health insurance system in America today is at least just the insurance system alone, in administrative costs and profits and in paperwork put on hospitals and doctors. Just the insurance system is a minimum of $60 billion more expensive than the European or the Canadian systems. Now, the reason you and I have discussed this, the reason that I kind of like the German system or some of these European systems better is that it doesn't require us to redo so much of our system. And while the German system is different from the Canadian system and still has insurance companies in it a little bit, it's very good at controlling costs because every year you've got the employers, the employees, the healthcare providers, and the government in there trying to control costs, which I think is really critical. We cannot continue to have costs go up twice the rate of inflation. Canadian system is the second most expensive one in the world because of the way it doesn't manage the cost issue very well.